also, speaking of pit stops, took a pit stop back in the past and booted up Cross Tekken.
Oh, so you went back to the past to play shitty games that suck ass, is what you would say?
The fun thing about Cross Tekken is that it has actually had a new life because the like Discord community has gotten together to try and start playing it and whatnot, and
Uh-huh.
they've patched all these problems themselves. Where remember Games for Windows Live? Remember that
Yeah.
thing? So that thing died, which meant you could no longer fucking play online in the game. You couldn't log in
Mm-hmm.
anymore. It literally made you unable to load your profile. So they hacked it to fix that so that you could at some point. And then also, if you couldn't log into your profile, you couldn't access all these DLC characters, which are already in the game. So you had to fucking hack that as well, and you could get that going. Yada yada yada, all this bullshit, dude. But I still had it. I still had it from last time. And the thing about it is that the 2013 version, the final update to it, was the one that people kind of left off on in a state where they're like, this is the best the game has been at, and people who love it like the state, like 2013. They like the final update. The one where
People already committed to bad decisions state, don't worry, this is the least worst bad decision yet.
I described that like some people that are current fans, kind of showed up in the stream for that to talk about it a bit. And as I explained, I'm like, hey, look, man, like this game it's not what I was looking for, and I went into some of the problems that it had that I'm not a fan of, and a lot of the decisions that just were terrible at the time. Like, God bless, they exited the game giving it one final thing that made it better than the way it launched and the way it lived. It died in its best state. Is what I can say about it. It died in its best state, and it still is just full of things that I find really just like not at all what I wanted from that crossover. But
It's
but going back to it, it's kind of amazing to like to remember what that campaign was like at the time. And when I say campaign, I mean like the marketing of it, the features, and the amount of stuff that they thought people wanted in their fighting games that people could not want less of.
So I think I tell this story every time Street Fighter Cross Tekken comes up because it's the only thing I ever want to talk about Street Fighter Cross Tekken. And I'm about to talk about it again with a slight twist. Street Fighter Cross Tekken is the moment that I began to understand what I had already heard from people at Capcom, that lots and lots of people at Capcom allegedly fucking hate Yoshinori Ono. Like, fucking hate his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And that he screws up everybody's job, and that he busts up marketing shit, and then all that crap. And this was the first time that I was able to take that alleged hatred and understand it in a microcosm.
Mm-hmm.
Because Street Fighter Cross Tekken got announced at, I want to say, Comic-Con?
It was a comic or SDCC or something like yeah.
Right,
I think so,
and
yeah.
it was Ono showed up with this fucking like really early build,
Early ass trailer. Mm-hmm.
and showed up. I don't think there was even a trailer. I think it was literally just like, here's Ryu and Chun-Li, and there's Kazuya and Nina.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna
the
fight
robot in the robot stage, yeah.
Yeah, and it looked really, really, really rough, right? And then later at E3, we saw the game's actual reveal trailer,
Mm-hmm.
which had it had the Namco logo come up, and then Kazuya was talking to a robot, and he was saying, "Oh man, Jin, Jin, you bitch, I found that guy you were looking for. And it cuts down to Ryu, and he's standing on Ryu's head.
Mm-hmm.
And then the music kicks in and the Capcom logo comes up. And I instantly understood that
a pop-off was stolen from you.
Oro literally could not wait to show it off, even though there was a team of people building a expensive CG trailer specifically for a 1 second realization moment. That I said Oro? Okay. Oh no. Of like, oh my god, they're gonna do it, right? And when he showed that shit off at SDCC, those people must have like wanted to kill themselves.
The pop off was stolen and squandered.
Like,
yeah, that would have been a moment for sure.
And he had to have known that.
And not only that, but like it just what he showed was so early that it was like a what the fuck moment, but it was a
bad first impression too.
It wasn't the impression that you would have gotten off of that initial drop. No, for sure. He just stepped all over it.
But I want to be the guy who announces it to the fans.
Yes. Gotta be me.
And like if you ever wonder about why everybody seems to hear that Ono's a shitbag, think of this moment where, because I want to be the one to announce the thing, I'm gonna tank an entire division's work for a quarter.
Yeah. You know, you have to wonder if that habit showed itself in other places, in other games at other times.
You might have to wonder if there are other games
again that have where that story,
where there are other games that were horribly damaged, ruined, or possibly even canceled because of that attitude. You have to really wonder.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Well, what ended up happening... That's
all I can see when I see Cross Tekken. I see that moment, and I see allegedly a bunch of other moments.
Well, what we ended up with, you know, was 30-60-90. It was gems. It was Pandora mode.
Oh man.
Which I mean, some of the funniest moments of the night, dude, were some last second Pandoras. Like, fuck everything, I'm about to die, sacrifice your partner for time on the clock, you know. And it's so fucking baffling and weird that there's one moment where Reggie activates Pandora, and then someone else we're fighting activates it right afterwards, and then the timer hits 0, and Reggie has more life. But because he activated Pandora first, he loses. And you're just
that shit was so awful.
What? It was incredible. And like the attempt at micro mini buys in the form of like selling these gems that no one wants at all. And then of course the absolute infamous on disc DLC situation where it's all already there. The data's there. You're downloading an unlock key for 12 characters or
God, there was an interview. I forget who it was, but it was with a former Capcom USA staffer who we talked about it when the interview came out, but I need to bring it up again, where they saw that on this DLC thing, and then they told the people, motherfuckers, you can't do this. People are going to find this in 2 seconds. They're going to be so pissed off. And the answer that came back from Capcom Japan was, how are they going to find out? Who would like rip a console game? That's illegal. Like, that was the actual real response.
How would they ever possibly find out?
How could anyone find out? That's against the law.
Well, listen, we went back down memory lane for that, and you know, you got to look at it with honest eyes. You got to look at the game through honest eyes.
Uh-huh.
And I think we did. And you know, went back to the characters that I remember I played Steven Ogre, and just yeah, like just looked back at what this was. All those backgrounds that were just so busy and nuts. Like they were all
And
these overdone
it's the
backgrounds.
only of all of those games that I would have actually considered playing matches in training mode, because the fucking backgrounds are out of control.
I'm looking like there's the one where you're in the hovercraft and then there's a mammoth with Pandora markings chasing you
Yeah.
and another hovercraft in front of it, and like you're just like, and it's like just this whole racing thing, and you're like, this could have been, if you just got rid of every one of those things and made us fight in the ice outside that we're rolling on, that would have been fine, you know. But like we're just overdoing it with all these ideas, and
I
I mean,
I I legitimately think the best thing that I can say about Street Fighter Cross Tekken is that when I picked up Kazuya and I did an Earth Wind God Fist and it went straight through somebody's fireball and fucked their ass up, I thought about I thought about Tekken Cross Street Fighter, and I was like, oh, they'll be fine.
mm-hmm.
When they put a fireball character in a Tekken game, they'll be fine. And
Well,
so when Akuma got announced, I was
yeah,
like, oh, that's fine.
yeah.
That 1 second of, oh, okay, yeah, no, that was the best thing I got out of Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
I mean, and you know, there's still lasers and Eliza and you know, all kinds of other
True Ogre Fire
projectiles at
Breath.
this point. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of projectiles in the game now, but like, they figured it out. The geese as well. The state though of like a lot of those characters, um, where I like God, I remember just like the amount of like just in gameplay stuff. There was just like infinite jab loops with Cammy and weird floating juggles with Jin that resulted in touches of death because he would tag out while he was doing a spinning launcher on you, and like just so much busted shit that, you know, it's just it's frozen in time. And again, I believe that stuff got patched out towards the end of it. I went back, I was playing Steve and I was playing Ogre, I was doing my bread and butters, Reggie was doing his thing, and like we just had fun with what we had, you know, which is like memories of a time, man. But I'll just the most important thing that we recall in at least the Montreal community was you know, the best player here for a while, and you know, the champion in general of Montreal, Chirithi, our boy Henry, day one, week one, when it was at the meetup, like everyone's giving it some time, figuring it out, pressing the buttons, trying the teams out. He plays it for about an hour and just goes, "All right, I'm done." And
Yeah, I'm out.
we're like, "Wait, what's up, dude? What's going on?" And he's like, "Shit's whack, dude." And he's like, we're like, "Really?" Like, just after your first sit down, he's like, "Absolutely trash." You know? And like he felt it immediately, and I was like, wow, like he fucking just in the bones, he, you know, and I was like, okay, like that's where it is. That's the state of affairs, you know. But yeah, so that's coming up on Getting to Fighting Games. A look back at Street Fighter Cross Tekken with honest eyes.
If you want a like 1 or 2 minute breakdown of everything you need to know with just how bad Cross Tekken was at its worst, I just found and tweeted out a video called Evolution 2K12 Street Fighter Cross Tekken Grand Finals, in which it's Rolento and I forget who the fuck it is versus Raven and Bad Box Art Mega Man. Oh, it's Rolento and the little cat Kuro. And it is just like, did you know that Rolento can just jab you to death and you can't escape, and that that fucking Raven has a good combo that you can just do and then switch to Bad Box Art Mega Man and then just fly into the air and clip out of the stage to time it out?
Lame it out.
That's a great. Oh, but if you get Kuro in, Kuro can do fucking EWGF style uppercuts on you in the corner infinitely, and even though it stops doing damage, you can't fucking move. You're stuck.
Lame it
God
out, like
damn
it's
it.
lame it out like it's Cross Tekken. That's you know. That phrase has weight. It has collateral.